Hi everybody, it is time for another pattern at pattern-collections.com. Yes, this is just the website. There is no app. Apps would be way too hard. This is just the website. It's free for everybody. So, you know, just, yeah, there's no app. Go to Pattern Focus. Scroll down to today's pattern, which is this one, and there we go. For those who say, well, it would be really great to have an app, the official Zentangle people do have an app. It's called Zentangle Mosaic. I have not downloaded it and tried it because from what I understand, there's a monthly subscription to it, and it's just not something I have resources for. So, but if you want to download it and try it, you know, I say go for it. That's the only one that I know of that is an actual, like, official type app. The others that I saw, I kind of went and looked to see what apps were out there. And I know there's one that's in Spanish that totally just steals everybody's work off the internet. And I have this feeling that the others also do that. And they're just images. They're not teaching tools. They're not a way where you can keep your step outs with you on the go. So this is the best way that I have found, is to just use pattern-collections.com, or you can use the other website. What's the other one that is tanglepatterns.com? That one also works really well, and the official Zentangle website works well. All of those places are great resources for step outs. If you really want to save some step outs offline, I would just take a screenshot and leave them in my phone and just do it that way. But, you know, if you've got internet connection, you can get to this. So I stopped trying to collect all my favorite patterns. I just do it this way. Anyway, that's besides the point. Let's look at today's pattern. It's called Hex-Spire by Cheryl Lees Haley. We're going to do some zigzaggies. And then from that zigzag, we're going to go down. Probably the line down needs to be about the same size as the line going this way on your zigzag. But I don't suppose it has to be, but that's probably what it should be. And then we're going to zigzag again and do another line down. And just keep going until we have as many hexagonal shapes as we want. And then it looks like we're going to do an aura on the inside of those, right? And then, what is that? I gotta look at it close. Oh, looks like from here to there, from that point to this point, we're gonna do a little curving line like this, around like that. Do they all go the same way, or do they go different ways? They go different ways, up and down. So they go different directions too, the little curvy lines. Or you could do them all the same way. I guess it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so then you end up with that. And here's the sample with some big ones and some little ones. I really like these big ones. Those are cool. Okay, let's see what we can do to insert this into our string. Let me turn on my light so I can see what I'm doing. Give it a second for the camera to adjust. And I'm going to draw the string. Remember, your string is just a guide. It is not set in stone. And you can either follow it or don't. And it doesn't have to be done the same way each time. I always just draw it lightly in pencil Here's what the string looked like here when I drew it in pen. Somebody had, in one of our groups, had said something about, well, how do you print out the string so that you can tangle on it? Well, you don't have to. Just draw it freehand. Because I don't want a solid line there anyway. I'm not making those aren't concrete walls that I'm tangling separate areas. It's just a guideline, as a suggestion as to where to put stuff. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to use this line of this triangle as like the top where I'm going to put my zigzaggies. I think I'm going to use that. So I'm going to extend this line here just so I have a little reference. And then maybe here where the edge of this circle is, I'm going to use it as the guide for this side. I'm going to make some big zigzaggies in there. Actually, that's too big. Can't make a zigzag that big. That would be way too big. Okay, give me a moment. This is a zigzag. I don't trust myself to have an even spacing on this in the least, so I'm going to give myself a couple of reference points. You don't have to do that. You can just be on your own. That's about that long, so about that long. Here. I don't know if I'm going to need that line. And yes, I am just thinking out loud. You're just going to have to put up with it. You don't like it, go elsewhere. Sorry. So zigzaggies, those are pretty good. That was not bad. Sometimes my zigzaggies are not good. About that long. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to come to about, actually I need to give myself a reference that's about that long. About that long right here. Okay. Just so my ziggy zags are about the same size on the top and the bottom. And they're not, because my line is actually too big. So I'm actually better with that line. All right, so even though I drew a line, I completely ignored it. Okay, something like that. I'm going to start with that. And then a aura. Something like this. Oops, that's a little wonky. Oh well. We got ourselves a wonky line. Maybe I'll fill that in with black. And then that wonky line will just disappear, right? Something like this, and like this. And then do I want... go this way. Okay, like so. So I had a little conversation in my comment section on YouTube, and kind of wanted to address it a little bit. The reason I started my channel was to help some new people in my Facebook group who were struggling with certain things. And I left my sounds on my phone. Pardon me. Let me turn that off real quick so it doesn't distract me anymore. Okay. So, yeah. That's where I started this journey like a year ago, right? Or a little bit more than a year ago. And it's evolved a little bit since then, but the main point was to just help people who were new to figure out certain things. Somebody had asked for a particular pattern, and that's where I started, and yeah, I just kind of went from there. Went with the beginning patterns, with the beginning lessons, and those, I felt like I was actually teaching something because I was following the beginner lessons. But since then, just doing these daily patterns, this is you guys just watching me learn how to do this pattern. And so we're all learning together. I'm not teaching per se because I have not practiced. I have not made any sort of attempt to learn this beforehand. And so, you know, you get it just the way you would learn it at home. You get to watch me learn. I'm not teaching you something that I already know how to do. You're watching me learn. And so that's a little different than a lot of YouTube channels. And I know that there are a ton of YouTube channels out there with some spectacular artists. I'm just going to follow this triangle going this way now. I'm just going to give myself some diagonal lines just to kind of keep myself going this right direction. I probably won't use them, but I'm just going to... And you'll note that the circle part seems to be completely no longer there. I didn't use the circle in today's drawing, which is fine. You don't have to. So what I was saying was that, you know, I'm not... First off, I'm not a certified Zentangle teacher. Right off the bat. And you guys know that, right? You do understand that I'm not a certified Zentangle teacher. I am just a person who's learning and growing along with you guys, right? I hope you understand that. Because it was kind of suggested that I change the way I do things and do it more like somebody else. I'm not going to make mention of names. But I'm not that person, you know? I'm me. And that person's channel is more of a teaching channel. I mean, that's her purpose. is to teach, and to teach the certified Zentangle method. And so she is a teacher. I'm just a person who's doing this for fun. I'm not trying to make any money. I have no sponsors. I have the very barest minimum that YouTube allows on monetization. Matter of fact, I've had my channel for over a year, and I have yet to have one payment from YouTube because I don't make enough money. So it's not like I'm doing this as a money-making venture. And for those who are, more power to you. You know, I don't disparage anybody who is making this a career type choice and a way to increase their income. But it's just not what I'm doing. And so, you know, you guys are just learning along with me. And I don't want to be like everybody else. I am who I am. But it seems to me that telling me to do my stuff more like somebody else just, it's not very productive. Kind of made me want to dig in my heels, you know. I mean, have you ever had somebody, I mean, if you have siblings, especially if you have siblings, if you ever had somebody say, you ought to be more like your sister, or you ought to be more like your brother, wouldn't that just like immediately raise your hackles and say, I'm not going to be more like them? Even if you admire them, even if they're the best people on the planet, having somebody else tell you you need to be more like them kind of implies, if somebody says you should be more like your sister, for example, it kind of implies that they like your sister and they don't like you. Doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm just saying that you know, we need to be kinder to one another. We need to take each other's feelings into consideration. It's hurtful. It really is. And I wouldn't be saying this if it didn't bug me. Because I've been thinking about it a couple of days. It just bugs me. All right, so I did 2 different scales. We'll see what happens here. I think I'm going to make really swoopy. Let me erase some of these lines. Sorry, getting quiet. That happens too. You know, that's what you're going to get with my channel. I'm just telling you straight out. You're going to get nothing fast forwarded. You're going to get nothing pre-planned. You're going to get erasing. You're going to get my rambling thoughts. You're going to get sometimes complete silence. You're going to get me where I'm unprepared sometimes, and I didn't go get my colors because I didn't know I was going to color today. That's what you're going to get with me. That's it. You're going to get those things. So if that is not your thing and you don't care for that, then perhaps watching me is not for you. And that's okay. You just don't need to be rude. I'm going to do this big swirly curve on these ones. That one be there, and you can see that, and you would see this, and you wouldn't quite see that one. Okay. And then I'm just going to do them all the same direction. I don't know about the whole direction thing. I'm just going to do them all the same. It's just easier for me. Just making them the same and going around in circles. But I am going to encourage you guys to watch other people's Zentangle based art, and the people who are CZTs, certified Zentangle teachers. They are awesome. I'm not saying anything bad about them or their channels, because I think they are wonderful. And I watch them. I spend hours on YouTube watching different artists and teachers. And I know that there are some people who are teachers. And then there are some people who are just doing their art and you're watching them. And you need to know the difference between the two. I'm just doing my art and you're watching me. If you're learning something, that's awesome. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And if you think I'm teaching, that's great. But that's not my intent. My intent is to just show you how I'm learning this particular pattern today. And then I will sometimes share my tips and tricks, and so I guess technically I am teaching something, but I'm not a certified Zentangle teacher, and I'm super transparent with that. I totally am. And I tell you in my description box my supplies only because I had so many people ask me about them. But I don't necessarily recommend any one particular brand of anything. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any revenue in that way. I just do my thing. And if I was the only person who watched my own stuff, I guess, there was only one person who wanted to watch me, I would continue my channel. And if my channel disappeared tomorrow, then it disappeared tomorrow. You know, if YouTube all of a sudden decides, you know, this isn't the thing that they're doing something else, and they make you, I don't know, let's say for example they all of a sudden decide they're going to make you pay to put your videos online, then that would be the end of it, and I would continue to draw and do my thing outside of YouTube. But okay, I've totally lost, I mean it's cool, but I've totally lost the pattern in there. I see this one, and this one's kind of turned, it's like disappeared with all those curves, which I find fascinating. I think if I had colored in this middle bit first before I did these lines, I wouldn't have lost it. But I'm almost tempted to just leave it like that. Completely, it's there, but it's not there. You really have to search for it. That's kind of cool. Okay, I really like that. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to fill in the middles of this other one though, especially since I had that big blob there. So other than me and my ramblings, how are you guys doing? I want to thank you for sharing your blessings with me. Thank you for reaching out and telling me that you were saying a prayer for Miranda's family. I totally appreciate that. At this point, I've not heard about any kind of service or anything for her. I'm sure we'll get that information soon, if they're going to have one. I mean, you never know. There are some families who choose not to. Not yet been contacted by any of our deacons at the church. If I know that they left, you know, the grandma had left the church, and you know, we haven't seen them in a long time, so I'm sure they have support at wherever church they landed at when they left us. Zoom in just a little bit. You know, so they may not have any pressing needs at the moment, but we'll see. Well, that's kind of cool like that. I'm gonna leave that one like that. Okay. Okay, that's just kind of weird though, with some of them black. And now what do I do if I want to leave some of them like that and I want some black? You know what do you do this? Some of them will be filled in, and some of them won't. Maybe I'll get my white pen out and do something in there. Okay. With a brush pen sure does make quick work of that, doesn't it? Okay. So. Give me a moment to think. I'll grab my gray pen. Can you see that on that? No. Ooh, this gray pen seems to be drying up. Well, that's interesting. Okay, maybe it's the way I'm having them stored. I happen to have these pens standing up instead of laying down. I usually store my pens horizontally and not vertically. These ones are standing this way. I'm wondering if all the ink has sucked to the bottom and it's not near the tip. It's possible. I think I'm going to move where I've got them stored. I am going to going to do this. I was just going to leave it so you couldn't find those, but it's telling me to do something else, so I'm just kind of following what it says. Still want to define the middles of those. Now I need to do kind of like the sample with those. I like, whoops, turn my phone back on. I like this. So I'm going to do something with that, like with stripies. Okay. I see how they did the every other one thing. That's yeah, like that. Okay, we're just gonna keep doing that. Let's see. Okay, that makes it easier to do it that way with doing all the stripes than, see this one I did that and then I was going to come back and do the stripes and that's where I lost focus there. I think I'm going to do this. I don't know why, but it's telling me to do this. So I'm getting distracted. That's what it, you know, there are just some days you gotta listen to your tile. I say that a lot, but it's true. You gotta listen to your tile. Oh, I missed one. What color was that? Oh, darn it. I think it was this one. Hope it was that one. It's almost telling me it wants color over there, but I'm not sure yet. Needs something. I don't know. I'm just... So far, so good. I like it. And yep, I've gone quiet because, you know, this part is this repetitive part where you don't really have to think, is where you go zen. That's where you get your quiet zen moment. And you go all quiet. When you don't have to think, that your brain kind of does this weird thing where it kind of turns, it almost turns off. You go into that meditative state, which I didn't really understand until I started drawing like this. I'd never really experienced that. You know, people say, oh, prayer is like meditation. It's not. To me, it's not. To me, prayer is more active. Meditation is more of a clearing, of a quieting of the mind. To me, prayer is a more active thing. It's like having a conversation with a friend. It's active. So I never found prayer to be meditative. So I find it interesting that I can totally go there with drawing. But only once I get to this point where it's like repetitive. Okay. I like that. Okay. Gonna get out my little jelly roll, my Uniball Signo, and I'm gonna put Yep, that's what it needed. Okay, I'm happy with that. Does it need color? No. Yes, no, maybe so. No, I'm gonna leave it. Okay, I'm just gonna smudge my frame. I'm not even gonna do any other shading. I did this little bit here with the gray pen, and I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's telling me it's done, which is good because I have things to do. Okay, and which direction is it living? I want the dark. Do I want the dark there on the bottom? Do I want the dark up the side? No, it looks better at the bottom, like that. Okay. And this is, what was the name of this? Was Hex something. Hex-Spire. Okay, on string 46 that you can't find. See? Whoop. Wrong way. There's string 46, and there's what I did with it. And that's okay. You don't have to follow the string. It's just a suggestion. So I took this line, and then I took this line, and they're in there. You just can't find them. But there's my triangle, right? Yep, it's there. You just have to look for it. I just didn't do the round thing. So I'm happy with this. It looks good. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. I got things to do today. So yeah, you guys have a great day. Go out and do something nice for somebody today. You know, tell them how much you appreciate them for being just who they are, and that you don't want them to change and be somebody else. That would totally make somebody's day. When you tell them that you love them the way they are. Go out and do that today. I'm going to. I see you later. Bye-bye.